Welcome to the official D-Money Games set review for Scholomance Academy. I'm going to be going through each individual card, and there's going to be a different video for each class and also for the neutral cards as well. And we're going to be ranking them based on what you see at the top left of the screen. 5 is broken / always played. 4 is very strong or typically played. 3 is above average / played sometimes. 2 is below average, played a little bit, and 1 is bad or unplayable. Basically, every single class in this expansion has gotten a lot of really cool mechanics, a lot of new things, and it seems like Druid, they're just going in the same direction as they always go, which is just like mana ramp and play big stuff and just buff all the minions in your deck. So I'm not really thrilled with the direction here, but they do look like they got some really strong cards, so let us get into that now. Lightning Bloom. 0 mana card. Gain 2 mana crystals this turn only. Overload 2. So, yeah, I mean, you guys know I'm going to rate this a 5 out of 5. But let me explain why, okay? You might be saying, but D-Money, Overload 2 sucks, man. Like, this card sucks, dude. No, it doesn't. All right, I don't know where I'm going. This is not what I'm trying to do. Sure, it has an overload of 2, but typically, if you're overloaded for next turn, you don't really mind it if you're getting some really great value that turn before. So just think about the possibilities here. I mean, you could coin Lightning Bloom and go into Overgrowth on turn 1, which is really insane. And then you don't even mind if you really do too much on the next turn. You'll be overloaded for 2, but you're still gonna have 2 mana. So it's like you still went on to turn 2, but now you're at 4 mana overall. So then the turn after it, you're gonna be very, very ahead. And then there's certain circumstances where you could play this. You could play this plus Kael'thas. You could get out Survival of the Fittest pretty early. It just doesn't make sense to not run this card in like any Druid deck. It's just super, super good. I mean, especially in like some kind of embiggen big Druid kind of deck, it seems very just broken. And yeah, it's broken. 5 out of 5. Gibberling. A 1 mana 1/1. Spellburst, summon a Gibberling, which is the same thing again. But Spellburst, so Spellburst, the mechanic is the first spell that you cast for that. The first spell that you cast while this card's on the board, then that activates the Spellburst effect. So technically, you could Gibberling, Innervate, Gibberling, Innervate, Gibberling, Lightning Bloom, Gibberling. You can get out an infinite amount of Gibberlings. You can do it with like some buffs as well. You can combo off with. This card is okay. If there's a good token Druid deck, then sure, it's all right. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna cut it. I'm gonna give this card a 2. I think it's a cute little concept. Maybe it could be something somewhere, somehow, but I'm gonna give it a 2. I don't think it's the worst. I don't think it's unplayable. I just don't think it's that good. Nature Study. Nature Studies. 1 mana. Discover a spell. Your next one costs 1 less. This is the easiest 5 out of 5 card I've seen thus far. You discover a spell. You lose literally nothing from it. You can go into infinite nature studies if you want. If you don't see something good, and you have another nature study to choose from, you could choose that one and then re-roll. If you get an Overgrowth, you get to play it a turn early. Same thing with a Wild Growth or a Breath of Dreams. This card is really, like, if you're looking for a board clear, this card's just so versatile, and the fact that it makes the next one that you cast cost 1 less, so you don't even have to cast that spell next, is really, really good. You can just set yourself up. You can just play this on turn 1. Even if you don't get something good from that, then the next turn you could play a Wild Growth for 2. It's really nice. Also, you could just Hero Power the next turn and then play Overgrowth for 3 and just get so far ahead. There's no way you're not running 2 of these in any deck, I want to say. It's a 5 out of 5. Partner Assignment. It's a 1 mana spell. Add a random 2 cost and 3 cost beast to your hand. This card's Cool. It helps you curve out very well, of course. But the thing is, are you even going to need these 2 cost and 3 cost cards? Typically in these Druid decks, you just want to be ramping up in the first few turns. So the only way I can see this being a thing is in some kind of token deck, or just like a tempo kind of Druid, I guess. Tempo Beast. I'm gonna give this card a 2 out of 5. Next card we got here is Groundskeeper, a 4-mana 4/5 taunt. Battle cry: if you're holding a spell that costs 5 or more, restore 5 health. I mean, this effect is super strong. It has taunt and it heals you for 5, all for 4 mana. And you're typically going to have a spell that costs 5 or more. It depends on your deck, of course, but yeah, this card's really strong. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. I don't think it's broken, but it's very, very good for just hanging in there, especially for like a quest Druid kind of deck. Twilight's Runner, which is a 5-mana 5/4 beast with stealth, and it says whenever this card attacks, draw 2 cards. This is a 5 out of 5 card, even if you don't buff it up. A 5-mana 5/4 is already decent. The fact that it has stealth, they can't interact with it unless it's a board clear. Whenever it attacks, it draws 2 cards. So if it manages to stick for more than 1 attack, you're insane. Just the 1 attack by itself is really good. Sure, you're delayed by a turn, but you're typically going to get that attack off. And you can also buff this card up with some cards like the new 10-mana card and maybe some other things as well. I think this card's very, very good. 5 out of 5. Legendary for Druid, Forest Warden Omu. The 6-mana 5/4 with Spell Burst, which means the first spell that you cast is going to get this effect, and it's refresh your mana crystals. So yeah, I mean, you ever just want like a 0-mana 5/4 on the board? I think so. So you're going to play this card. It's a 5 out of 5. There you go. Runic Carvings. 6-mana, choose 1. Summon 4 2/2 Treant Totems, which are Treants that have the totem tag, and then or overload 2 to summon them with Rush. Very interesting. Here's the Treant totem right here if you want to look at it. 6 mana for 4 2/2 trees, as opposed to the 5 mana for 3 that we already have. It's okay. I don't think it's good. Trees are really not a deck right now. Tokens can become something, but it doesn't seem like the strongest archetype. I'm going to give this card a 1. This is the first 1 for me, honestly. Next card we see here is called Survival of the Fittest, 10-mana spell. Give +4/+4 to all minions in your hand, deck, and battlefield. Yeah, so this card's very, very strong, especially since a Druid is going to be ramping up, and you have cards like Kalthos to cheat this card out pretty quickly. Yeah, this card basically says, like, if the game goes into the late game, you're going to have constant big threats, which is very strong. And +4/+4 is really nothing to scoff at, okay, guys? So I'm going to give this a 5 out of 5. It just seems really broken. Adorable Infestation. Aw. 1 mana spell. Give a minion +1/+1. Summon a 1/1 cub. Add a cub to your hand. Here's a little cub right here if you want to check him out. Adorable. Yeah, I think this card is very strong. It seems like it's going to be better in a token deck, of course. Otherwise, you really don't want to run it. But I think overall, this card's very good. And I would give this card a 5 out of 5. Okay, next card we see here is the legendary for Druid and Hunter. It's called Shando Wildclaw. 3 mana 3/3. Choose 1. Give beasts in your deck +1/+1 or transform into a copy of a friendly beast. So basically, I'm going to break it down for you. So this card is so good no matter when you draw it. If you draw it at the beginning of the game, it adds +1/+1 to all your beasts in your deck. Insane. If you draw it later in the game, you transform into a copy of a friendly beast, which is probably going to be a big beast. This card has got to be a 5 out of 5. There's no way I could give it anything less. That is all. Teacher's Pet. Just like Twitch chat, am I right? 5 mana 4/5 taunt with Death Rattle. Summon a random 3-cost beast. Yeah, this card's strong. It's a beast itself as well. A taunt is nice. 4 mana, 4. I mean, a 5 mana, 4/5 taunt is just like okay in general. It's like pretty good, but the death rattles to get a 3-cost beast. There's pretty nice 3-cost beasts. I can see this being very good and run in like almost every single Druid deck. I'm going to give this card a 4 out of 5. Guardian Animals, 7 mana spell. Summon 2 beasts that cost 5 or less from your deck. Give them Rush. So I mean, first off, 2 beasts, summoning 2 beasts, 5 or less, assuming you're gonna only run beasts that cost around 4 or 5. Assuming that you're gonna be running Embiggen and Survival of the Fittest, things to buff up your minions a bit. Yeah, this card's really strong just for 7 mana, and the fact that you get to cheat, you get those extra mana crystals early on, and you could even use some lightning blooms at the beginning to get this guy out. This is a 5 out of 5 for me. If you saw it in action on the pre-release stream, it was really, really good. And especially since they have Rush, you can use cards like that new neutral card, that new neutral beast that has Cleave. And you can use it with the new stealth minion that we went over before, that when it attacks, you draw 2 cards. And you get very good value for 7 mana. This card's a 5 out of 5. Next card is Speaker Guidra. 3 mana, 1/3. Rush, Wind Fury, Spellburst. Gain attack and health equal to the spell's cost. So the first spell that you cast after you have this on the board, that's what's going to give it that extra buff. And that means you have to play it later on, or unless you're going for like a smaller buff. I really don't see this card being too insane. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Overall, like I said before, guys, nothing really that fun. To me, it doesn't really look that fun. Druid as a whole, it's kind of like the same identity of ramping up and then just buffing big guys. I think overall the class is going to be very strong. And yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. Maybe there could be some kind of token deck that arises and proves me wrong with some of these cards that I rated pretty poorly, like Gibberling or Runic Carvings. Of course, all these ratings are my own opinions, and I would love to hear what you have to say in the comments. Please let me know. I'd love to hear what your opinions are on certain cards, what you think I may be underrated or overrated. And yeah, I'm going to be trying out all these decks on stream on August 6th. That's when it drops. I'm going to be doing a 24-hour stream. If you want my stream link, it is below in the description. I'll be doing a 24-hour stream with giveaways, with viewer games. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. I hope you come by, and that is all. Peace out, guys.